Hello everyone, welcome back to Farming Simulator 22, and we are back in Butschern, still in October. Plans have changed a little bit. Was planning on, at the end of the last episode, we got our cows fed some more TMR. Then I was thinking there wasn't much else to do. We could just sleep through November, check on our cattle and our chickens, and kind of repeat that process until our grass or our fields were ready for some work. And then this came up. A cotton harvest contract. I was actually kind of surprised to see that. I was just looking through and I went, yeah, we'll definitely take that. We need every ounce of money we can get. Of course, we have to borrow the equipment because we don't have a cotton harvester. Well, actually, we don't even have a cotton bale trailer either. We might have been able to throw that cotton bale because I don't think we're going to get more than maybe one or two on this, maybe one. But don't you love the look of these cotton harvesters? I mean, you want to talk about a piece of engineering that is pretty impressive indeed. Well, let's not mess around anymore. I think I just hopped in the Massey instead. I'll shut you off, Massey. And let's head on over and we'll hop in our cotton harvester here and get that thing fired up. Get it unfolded and let's start harvesting some cotton. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a really good weekend. Weekends go by so fast, don't they? But here we are on Monday already, starting off the work week, school week, whatever it is you've got going on. I also see here that we've got GPS, so I say we take advantage of that. Get our header width taken care of. A heading, we'll try 0. See if that's lined up properly. I don't see our lines. Am I just missing those or are they off? Let's take a look here real quick. Lines are, oh, I don't want headland mode. But yep, lines were off. And they are the wrong way. What is it? Alt. Home? There we go. Now we got her. That actually looks pretty good. Let's get this thing fired up and harvesting. Make sure we're not missing anything. Looks pretty good. Not too shabby. I don't know how, actually this field's not that bad a size. I don't know what we're going to get from it as far as yield goes. We have to get at least one bale out of this thing or we're not necessarily, or I don't think we're going to be able to complete the contract. Cotton bales always surprise me at how much it takes, you know, to make a bale. But they are pretty large bales, so there's that. So kind of a big weekend for Farming Simulator with the Maize Plus mod having been released. And actually, not only was the Maize Plus mod released, but also, let's do a little headland here, but also a few add-ons for that. One of those being, I did a mod minute on, is the grazing mod, which I love. I think that's fantastic. Adds a bit of realism to the game. Our cattle in particular, and sheep, actually can now take advantage of the grass that's in their pens. These things actually have really good turning on me, don't they? Yeah, they do. And I do have the grazing mod activated on this map. And I was actually thinking about going ahead over to the cow barn and putting down some grass for our cows. But then I started looking at our bank account and quickly realized that we technically probably can't afford to do that. I think it's going to cost all of, let me see where I think it's going to cost all of our $10,000 to, I'm going to miss a little bit, I think, with this. No, it's doing pretty good. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. It's going to cost all of our 10 grand, if not more, I think, to put down grass in that cow pen. So I decided to wait on that until we get some more money. It's not imperative. They have TMR already, so as far as food goes, they're looking pretty good. And my understanding of how the mod works, food is prioritized, so cows will eat off the TMR first anyways. But it is curious to me, thinking about, because I've wanted to do a cattle, both beef and dairy cattle farm, and kind of make a big, just focus on beef and dairy cattle. And the grazing mod kind of encourages me to want to do that even more, because it basically, if you've got that mod installed, once you've got the grass down, you're kind of good to go as far as excuse me, immediate feed needs go. And I'm always kind of wanting to have, you know, food prepared before I start buying cattle and dairy cows, etc. But hey, with that grazing mod, it's kind of not really much of a worry. You know, you pay the initial upfront costs of getting grass down, and you could even, if you wanted to, and I think that this would not be a cheat method, at least in my opinion, it doesn't feel cheaty, is to before you start playing the map, is go into the map and put down meadow grass or plant real grass, regular field grass in there, and have that already done. You know, reimburse yourself whatever cost that was to do that, and start that way. Or if you wanted to, I guess you could say, you know, that was just part of the, you know, part of your initial costs anyways for doing dairy or beef cattle. Now there is a I guess some I wouldn't say controversy, but there's been some other YouTubers have done some tests on beef and dairy cattle as far as their feed goes. I'm thinking of one in particular, and I forget, it's Arthur Chapman. I think he's got a channel, and I think if I remember right, he did a tutorial on beef and dairy cattle. I think that was the purpose of it, but I thought his findings were, and I think a couple other YouTubers have found this, where it doesn't pay to do TMR for beef cattle, I believe is what, if I'm remembering it correctly. Beef cattle do just as well with feeding them, is it hay and grass alone? I think that's what, if I remember correctly. So I want to do a little bit more looking into that, because I am curious about that part of it. It seemed like there were some definite benefits to TMR for dairy, if I remember right, and not so much for beef. And I think I've got that straight. I might have that backwards actually, but I'm going to do a little more looking into that. Beautiful day here in October. We are getting close to October, in fact, in real life. And I know in my part of the country, here in the Midwest, upper Midwest, temperatures are already starting to reflect a bit of change as well. So yeah, fall is on its way. Football season is here. College football is here. NFL is here. I'll tell you, college football has not disappointed so far this year. It has been crazy. Some games have been just nuts. And I don't know if you're into college football or not, but you know, or any sports for that matter. But I'm not into. I'm kind of limited on the sports things, if I'm being honest. You know, I'm kind of a football, hockey. Yeah, football and hockey is kind of it for me. Contact sports like that, I guess. You know, I mean, I'll watch some other things. I'm not a big baseball fan. I really never watch basketball, if I'm being honest. I might pick up some games during March Madness for college, but the NBA I'm not really interested in at all. How about you all? I mean, it's kind of interesting to see because, you know, I was talking to somebody last week. I was at work and I was passing some time. I was in the middle of doing some work for them on their workstation, and we were chatting up a little bit and talking about sports, and he had zero interest in sports at all. Like, not a single sport, not anything. Because sometimes you'll find people with varying, you know, degrees of interest. Like maybe they like the more laid-back sports, like maybe they like golf, or bowling or tennis. You know, even baseball. You know, considering is kind of laid back, right? But yeah, he had zero interest at all in any sports at all. And you know, to each their own, obviously. I mean, hey, you don't have to like sports. Don't like sports, you know. It's I can understand why people aren't that into it, if I'm being fair too. It's kind of one of those things like, why do I say, was I stuck on something? Because this guy was not turning very nice for me. I can totally get that. Like, oh no, wrong aisle, Brad. Back the bus up. There you go. I can totally understand why, you know, why for some people it'd be nice if you lock that GPS in too. There we go. I'm figuring it out. It's my first day on a cotton harvester, so yeah, kind of getting it. Music, sports, TV, hey, technology, computers, games, photography, you know, everybody's kind of got their thing. I love the inside of this cotton harvester though. This thing looks like it would be a blast to operate. Got the creature comforts, you've got your AC, heat, AC, you've got, what, stereo I'm sure in here. Yeah. Little buddy seat, all right. You know what I don't see, and I don't know if it's down there. I wonder if that's like, I don't know if that's like a fridge down there or a cooler or something. I never, or I shouldn't say never, but I don't often enough look at the machinery that close, you know, and kind of really scope it out. But Giants does such a good job with their modeling that you really can get a sense of, you know, this is exactly what it is in real life, which is pretty cool. I wonder about the sound on these. Like, I know that we've been told, you know, that Giants does a really good job with replicating the noises from the equipment. But I'm wondering, as far as interior sound goes, like if we listen here, is that about how loud it would be in real life, you know? Really, really nice. A sunroof would be nice on this though, wouldn't it? I could go for a sunroof on this thing. Something with a sunroof with a shade. I don't like sunroofs that don't have shades though. And if you look at my channel's avatar or whatever they call it, you'll probably figure out why I tend to go for sunshades. I like keeping my bald head from being burnt. So I was looking to see, as far as cotton goes, what regions cotton is grown in, and I know that here in the States, you know, cotton has always been a southern crop, you know, because you've got the big cotton plantations or farms down in the south, and so cotton must require, I'm assuming it must require more, what do they say, arid climates where you've got more heat and longer summers and stuff like that. But what an interesting crop, though. You know, I think cotton's one of the more interesting crops when you think about it. You've got something coming out of the ground, a plant coming out of the ground that produces what is it, ultimately a flower that we use for so many things, you know, so many things, clothing and fabric for, you know, for towels, bed sheets. I mean, cotton is, what was the old commercial? Cotton, was it cotton, the fabric of our lives? I haven't seen that commercial in years. That's probably a lot older than some of you watching, but wasn't that right? The cotton, the fabric of our lives, I think is what it was called. I mean, look at the job Giants does though in this thing, and it's so cool. I mean, you've got even down to the, you know, to the warning labels or the informational labels, stickers there on the windows. And if I could zoom in, if I had my TrackIR, which I really should do, I should hook that up, especially when we're doing work like this. It would make some sense to have my TrackIR on. In fact, maybe that's what I'll plan on doing then, is we'll check out and see if we get any more contracts here before our fields are ready. And maybe when we get to harvesting our fields, I'll throw on the old TrackIR and use that. I haven't used TrackIR in FarmSim for quite a while, so I'm kind of, in fact, I don't think I've used TrackIR on FS22 at all. So yeah, it might be worth giving it a shot and see how it goes. So what do we do? Now I know we don't own this field, and once we're done, we're done. But I guess typically, I wonder what cotton farmers do in real life with this leftover plant. I'm assuming they till it into the ground, I would assume. I wonder what their normal operation is though with that, and how they keep their cotton fields at their maximum yield. I wonder, I'd be curious to look into that, if they do a lot of fertilizing, or if they, I wonder if cotton is a rotation crop as well, how hard it is on their fields. We all know like corn uses a ton of nitrogen, and I wonder if cotton is known for anything in particular. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know if you saw that, but I just bumped out of the game here to Windows. I accidentally hit my Windows key. I thought I had my Windows key locked out in games, but apparently I have neglected to do that. Now this is one field that I kind of feel like we would be smart to grab every last ounce of these cotton plants, because if you look down there at what our current bale is, it's at 61%. So yeah, we are going to be, I think, really close at getting one bale out of this contract. In fact, let's look at our contract percentage. We're at 55%. I've never had a contract where the contract is completed. Well, let me put it this way: a harvesting contract where the contract is completed. Let's say for this, for example, if you could complete the contract 100% without actually creating a full cotton bale. Let's see what we can see here for inside our harvester here. So it looks like right there is our bale being created. So this is a square cotton baler, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is. That thing is what, just moves up and down. I wonder what that does, if it moves up and down to tie something off, or if it moves up and down to create another layer, or what that's doing. Interesting. Imagine doing this all by hand too. Yikes. Because you know you're not working in, comfortable conditions in the south and stuff, and just working on these fields and picking this stuff by hand would be, needless to say, a lot of backbreaking work. But I do love watching these machines work. I love seeing how they work. Very, very cool. So that must just, each one of those must, almost like a vacuum. So it must process most of the cotton there in the head, and then those must be vacuum type of things that suck it up into the rear chamber. Very cool. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for another episode of Butschern. I appreciate y'all checking out the video once again, checking out the channel. When we return next to Butschern, I'll have this wrapped up, and we'll see what we got produced out of it, and get our bale delivery, finish up the contract, and see what we need to do from there. But thank you all again for watching. I do really appreciate it. Leave a comment if you'd like. Leave a like if you'd like. And I will see you next time here in Butschern. Or Kubota Farm is Tuesday, so I'll probably see y'all there. Take care, everyone. We'll see ya.